Everybody, and welcome back to another episode on the Glory Reds FC. I'm joined with my boy, Pastor D. What's good, my guy?
Yeah, man. Looking forward to this fixture because three fates are gonna be decided tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So we either get knocked completely out of Europe, qualify for Europa, or by some miraculous way
We
advance
make it
past
into the
these
Champions League.
advance through the group stages, my guy. So
I hear you.
yeah, man. Three fates tonight. Which one will it be? Man, who knows, man? What are your feelings about tonight's match?
Ah, dog. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just one of, for me, honestly, personally, the way how everything has come about. To me, today is just a normal game.
yeah,
Like whether we have to qualify or not, like it doesn't really bother me because we have put ourselves in this position. So if we make it, cool. If we don't, it was expected. You
yeah,
know, if somehow we do something weird, I don't know. Like honestly, I am just like whatever. We put ourselves here.
yeah,
You know, we could have been in a better position. We could have qualified already. We wouldn't have had this stress. But
yeah.
here we are as Manchester United busy saying like we need to like stress. Nah, nah,
Yeah,
nah, nah,
yeah.
nah,
No, I hear you.
nah.
So,
Bayern Munich, like, and you know what's crazy?
yeah,
Here's the funny thing. I honestly believe we need to beat Bayern Munich this game. Like, here's and I'll say my reasons why.
okay.
First of all, we need to change this narrative. We need to change this thing. We can't be the team that always creates history for other clubs.
Mm,
Freaking Bournemouth came there and they beat us for the first time at Old Trafford in I don't know how many decades.
yeah,
They came there and made their little history there during the weekend.
yeah.
Bayern Munich haven't lost a group stage game since what is it, 2017, something like that.
Really?
Yeah, like
Wow.
their group stage game is strong
Yeah.
and they've never lost.
Okay.
And Bayern Munich right now, they are in shambles. They are like, I don't get it. This is the thing that I don't understand. Bayern Munich, we are supposed to nail them, but I don't know, for some reason, they're just gonna bring their A game and then we're gonna lose.
Yeah.
But Bayern are not, they're not gelling. You understand? So
Yeah.
there's an opportunity, and when I talk about these opportunities, it's a very micro kind of thing. You need to be watching games. You need to be checking the trends to understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich has dipped in form
Yeah.
slightly. It
Yeah.
is small, but it's a big opportunity. We have got people coming back into the squad. We have slowly started gaining that, what can I say, momentum, or
Yeah.
if you want to say, and Bayern Munich are not. So we need to use this momentum. But again, I know we will not. Bayern will
Yeah.
just come there, do their thing, and so honestly, bro, this game I'm just gonna be watching for the sake of it, just so that I can come here and talk about it. But other than like have my reservations for whether we're going to qualify or this, I removed my heart from there because we kept putting ourselves there. We
Yeah.
kept putting ourselves in that position. And I don't like being in these positions where we have to wait for another team to do something so that we do something. Now
Yeah.
imagine we ask for that team to do something for us. It does it, and then we don't do what we are supposed to do
Yeah.
because we have to win.
Yeah.
There's no shortcut. We
All right.
have to win.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. Okay,
yeah,
so
man.
if we talk about the first two scenarios, so in order for us to qualify for Champions League, we need to beat Bayern. Copenhagen and Galatasaray need to draw. That's the only condition that needs to happen for us to qualify.
That's not happening,
So if we beat Bayern and either one of those teams
bro.
win,
Oh,
then it's pointless. The win was pointless.
our win.
Our win is pointless.
I know.
If we
Like
win
whatever
and
we do,
If
everything is pointless.
Galatasaray win or if Copenhagen win, either one of those are qualifying regardless. Even if we go and trap Bayern 10-0,
Right.
it doesn't make
Mm.
any difference at all. right?
Mm.
So that's that, right? And then of course the second scenario is um we need to win to qualify for Europa, right? So in order for us to stay in Europe, we have to win. We can't draw, we can't lose. So if we draw or lose tonight, we are out of Europe.
Ah, you
And
see,
then
these
of
are the
course
stresses we didn't want.
and then of course
Ah.
the last one, like I said, getting completely knocked out of Europe, which means that yeah, of course we don't win a game. So in order for us to qualify and stay in Europe, we need to win. Now I know of a lot of fans don't want us to be in Europa. But when you put aside those emotions and feelings aside, and you think about it from a financial and a logical point of view, we sort of have to stay in Europe to stay afloat. Unfortunately, as much as we don't want Europa, United need to be in Europe to get that to get the TV license money. You know what I mean?
Mm.
In order to stay afloat and compete, especially now with this stamp down on financial fair play, etc., etc. We need to make sure that our revenue streams are kept healthy, so we can be using that budget to go into the transfer window. Because if we get knocked out of Europe, it decreases our budget going into the next transfer window. So unfortunately, whether United fans like it or not, a win tonight is a must. But is it possible? You spoke about Bayern have dipped in form. Now you're saying that we should go there and beat them, right? I think otherwise because Bayern
No,
on their
I didn't say we should.
yeah, you
There
said
is an
you said
opportunity.
there's an opportunity given the circumstances, right?
Yes.
But regardless, this team is just not up to scratch, right? To do that. And even if United had all their players fit and they're on the form of their life versus Bayern likewise, we still wouldn't be in the position to beat us. They're still at the end of the day a stronger team than United, a more complete team, should I say, than Manchester United. So I hear you about the opportunity. There's an opportunity to beat them. I just don't see us taking, taking that opportunity and getting done what needs to be done. And unfortunately, I don't like to say this, but it starts with the manager. You know, the manager is what's going to kill our opportunity tonight. Yes, majority of the blame is on the players, but because the manager will most likely start McTominay in that midfield and maybe even start Rashford in this game tonight, that already kills our chances even before a ball is kicked.
I hear you. I thought you were going to carry on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But anyway, let's jump into the press conference because we watched it yesterday. We watched the press
Yeah.
conference yesterday. Scott McTominay was in the press conference with Eric Ten Hag. I know a lot of people after the defeat at Bournemouth were expecting Scott McTominay to be nowhere near the team, especially after that first goal. I never got an opportunity to watch the whole match, but I watched the highlights, and I don't know if any of you guys noticed who caused that first goal. You know,
It
it
was
was
Scott.
it
I
was
said
Scott
it.
McTominay in that
I
midfield.
I I, I said it. Yeah. I said
It
it.
was
I
Scott
said it.
McTominay in that midfield. So complacent, so lazy, couldn't be asked
Yeah.
to deal with that ball in the midfield. Bournemouth won the ball back, charged into our box and scored that goal. And the funny thing is, and we spoke about this, that victory against Chelsea, when I said Scott McTominay scored the two goals. He has to be given man of the match. He has
Man
to
of
be
the
given his
match.
credit. And I said we would be having a different conversation if we lost. You understand? And Bournemouth is that situation where we have lost, and it's like you see now, you know what I mean? Like that point is being driven harder. It's hard to drive that point when Scott McTominay makes those mistakes, but still goes and wins us the game. Because at the end of the day, we got the 3 points. But it's harder to drive that narrative when he does nothing, and then we still ultimately lose because of him. And that's what happened at the Chelsea match. So it's so becoming how Ten Hag still insists on starting Scott McTominay in that midfield and just wants to completely ignore his irrelevance in that midfield and how it's really crippling us, you know? And like I
Yeah.
said, there's only one way for us to stay in Europe, and that's to win. If he's gonna start Scott McTominay in that midfield, we can forget about it. We can absolutely forget about it because Champions League is the creme de la creme. You know, there are no small boys in that league. That's the league of champions. You understand? So when you go
Mm.
into that league, you have to go in there with that mindset. You can't go in there and take chances when you're playing in your domestic league and, you know, fiddle around with your formation and your player selection and start Scott McTominay and whatever. Regardless of Bayern's dip in performance, that is it's man, just even thinking about it, it's scary. It's really scary, you know, how Bournemouth could put three three past us, and then we still need to face Bayern tonight, and then fucking go to Liverpool. Like I don't know if
Yeah.
United fans as worried as I am, but it's not looking good. And it's not looking good because of the Scott McTominay thing. And look, I'm not trying to make an agenda about this, but unfortunately, this is something that we spoke about. And I did say that if United lose, I will be on Scott McTominay's case, because
I remember,
it will just further drive the point of his relevance. But if he's gonna win us the
and
game, I can't complain.
I remember, I remember refusing to give him man of the match, even though he scored those bloody goals, because
Yeah.
you can't disappear 98% of the game
Yep.
and then appear and score those goals, and then you give somebody the man of the match.
Yeah.
It was the same thing, and it was the same thing also with Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there looking at that midfield, and you know what's funny, bruh?
Mm.
Amrabat and Kobe Mainu, those guys are going to suffer as long as we have Scott McTominay or Bruno in that midfield,
Yep.
because they're all gone, and then these guys are always overrun.
Yep.
It is always like that. And but it's like I said, I love Scott McTominay, I
Yeah.
really do. But this whole thing that is going on with him be playing, coming like given the instructions to go up, to go forward,
Yeah.
but put as a midfielder.
Yeah. It's
This
mm-mm.
thing is not, it's not making sense.
Yeah.
It's not really making sense. Like, because I remember suggesting we might as well just put Scott McTominay as a striker.
Yep.
Remove Hoyland, Martial, because at the end of the day, that's another striker.
Mm.
We have rotation. If you're
Exactly.
having problems thinking about strikers,
Yeah.
you already know in your mind that you've got like three strikers: Scott,
Exactly.
Martial, Hoyland.
Yep.
Now, depending on how you want to deploy your formation and how you want to tackle the game, you choose whether you want to have your two strikers up front working together, one
Yeah.
striker, one at the back. You choose. But then insisting and forcing Scott McTominay into that midfield and creating a situation where that midfield is always overrun because one player couldn't be asked to either run, tackle, chase. It is wild.
Yep.
And then you've got Bruno, who is running all over the place
Mm-hmm.
because he's trying to get everything under control, because he's trying to be here, he's trying to be there. Then you get Amrabat, who is left all on his own and he's just being bombarded.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Scott McTominay?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
No way.
And he couldn't be
No way.
asked.
You only find Scott McTominay in those situations where it's a scrabble. It's just
Yeah.
doom doom. It's dirty, dirty. Then Scott just appears and
Yeah.
somehow seems to have the ball, and he's the one that's sort of like about to spread the ball. Makes no sense. I
Yeah.
love Scott. I love the goals that he's scoring for us, but put him striker.
Yeah.
Put him striker. A lot of managers have swapped players, have converted players. Why are we taking time? Like, I don't know what's going on, D.
I also I
Like, for example,
yeah.
Dalot. I really want Dalot to be a winger. Like,
Yep.
I'm sick and tired of him at the back.
Yep.
Like, I'm not even kidding.
Mm.
Like, this argument, I don't get it. Either we get a new right back and one of those guys needs to bounce, because I
Yeah.
can't deal with this
Yeah, I can't.
back and forth at that right. I can't.
Yeah.
Then what you call his face? Scott McTominay, striker. You make him striker. You tell him that this is what it is, and then you let it be.
Yeah.
But man, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear
I don't
you.
know.
And you know what? It's just gonna get worse because Bruno is obviously suspended for the game against Liverpool. And like you
Yeah,
said,
I'm
he's
actually happy about that.
I'm I'm happy, you know, but ish man.
I know why you're not happy.
Yeah.
I do,
I don't want us to
because
go and
we
lose.
need our
We
money
need
people.
him, and
Yes.
look, if it was any other team, I would have been fine with it. Bruno can rest. It also gives the opportunity for all these haters that say Bruno is just, you know what I mean, running around doing nothing, wara wara. You know what all these pundits say? It's gonna be a great opportunity for these useless pundits to actually see the value of Bruno in that team. Because sometimes I think they forget.
His absence, his
Mm,
absence is actually the point I'm trying to make.
yeah,
His
yeah,
absence is going to prove to them
yes,
how important. Because
exactly.
I don't know if you had the same sentiment. I don't know if you felt like last season when we got thumped 7. Did you feel like Bruno threw in the towel?
I don't
Your
think
personal opinion.
I don't think he threw in the towel. I just think it was mental exhaustion.
It was chaotic. Things were just happening, right?
Exactly. Like
A
like
and
the game was out of his control. Like in,
thank
in
you.
in smaller games, he can try and control the situation, you know. But when we're playing elite teams, he can't do it all by himself. And he
It's
exerts himself
exactly,
even more. That's obviously making him more stressed and more, you know what I mean? It's a human thing, you know. This is nothing, you know, these are not
exactly.
you
So
check.
here's my thing.
So yeah,
Immediately he gets his yellow during the weekend.
yeah,
People start bombarding him saying that nah, Bruno got his yellow because he wants to skip the game against Liverpool.
yeah, yeah.
Imagine.
That's
Imagine the
it's
bullshit. And
madness.
even some of the Man United fans are saying, nah, this guy's trying to skive.
Yeah,
He doesn't want to get beaten again. And I'm like, cool,
yeah,
cool. Because last season you guys were giving him shit because he played and oh, apparently Bruno wanted to sub himself. I'm like, you know, when I listen to people talk like it upsets me. So now when I saw him getting his yellow,
yeah,
I'm like, I mean, this is not good, but at the same time, it is good
yeah,
because foreign players, when it comes to these derbies, these big games, if we get thumped, when our foreign players get bashed,
yeah.
they get bashed. And just to see, like for Bruno, I mean, I want Bruno to play in this game.
You know
Don't get
what?
me wrong.
You know what,
We're
ne?
playing Liverpool. But to prove a fucking point to people
Yeah,
how the importance of our Magnifico,
yeah,
I think this game is perfect. And I don't want to say it's perfect, but because it's Liverpool, because I'm
yeah,
sure everybody has been anticipating and waiting for
yeah,
this game to see
yeah,
if Bruno can redeem himself from last season or something like that.
yeah,
There's gonna be so much nonsense, D, so much. And I just feel like with Bruno absent, it will focus, it will put the magnifying glass on the other people,
yeah,
be it the English players, that whatever, I don't know, whoever will be there,
yeah,
and then we'll see how they deal with that if
yeah.
we end up getting dumped the way we did.
All right, you know what? Let's put a bookmark in that because there's so much um about this conversation that we can dive deeper into. But let's reserve that for the Liverpool preview. Right now, let's focus back on our
Yeah.
Champions League fixture tonight. Before we get lost in ourselves. But anyway, let's jump into the press conference. So obviously press conference starts. We see Scott McTominay coming out with Ten Hag. I don't know how you guys felt. I was really upset, you know, because I'm like, why? You know what I mean? Why is Scott McTominay even in this press conference? You know? And then when I finished the press conference, I sort of understood why. You know, it seems Scott McTominay is the most trained United player to be in press conferences. It's like they prep him, like how they prep these people who go to law trials. You know, when they have that prep trial before they go into trial,
Mm,
where they bombard them with
mm,
questions that the opposition. Yeah, it's like he's just interview ready. Scott McTominay is interview ready because some of the questions that they're throwing at him, I'm like, how the hell are you gonna answer this? And he answered it like an ace. You know,
mm,
like he didn't
mm.
skip a beat. He didn't look stressed. He didn't raise his voice.
Give me
You know,
examples of the interview questions
you
you were
know.
impressed by.
So what was it? I think they asked him about his form or something like that. I don't want to waste too much time like scrolling through, but I'll find that exact one. But they basically asked him something about, and you know how these guys ask, ne? It's very direct. They'll be like, you know that the previous game you didn't perform very well for your manager and for your team, and you cost you cost United to lose that game. Do you think that you're gonna
Mm,
be back into the starting 11? You know those type of
mm,
direct questions. The way he veered past it, fam, you would think they asked him another question, but somehow
mm.
he still answered the question without. answering the original question. Do you understand what I'm saying, man?
I
It's
feel you, bro.
like his answers were so immaculate. I'm like, wow, you really pulled it off over here, hey? You really pulled it off
Mm.
because in this interview, they really went for their necks, right? But let me just find like a quick one, real fast here. Um, was the game? Da, da, da. Okay, there was this question where they asked, I'm not sure who they asked, but when I'm done reading it, well, yeah. So they're like, there's a concern you don't know which of your teammates is going to turn up because you have a great performance against Chelsea and then you have what happened at the weekend. Is that the most frustrating thing for you as a manager? You don't know which United is going to turn up. So they're basically asking Ten Hag, like, look, these players, they'll turn up against Chelsea, go to Bournemouth and then get thumped. Like as a manager, how do you deal with it? How do you know that on game day, like which
Mm.
team is gonna turn up for you? And then he basically answered and said, it's not about getting frustrated about it. We have to work on it. So that's my responsibility to set the team, to
Mm.
prepare the team, um, and that they can improve on the facts. And I will give everything, and I know my players will do as well. So yeah, man. Speaking to that question and how Eric Ten Hag responded. I know we spoke about this before, and we've said that the way he's answering these type of questions nowadays, like we get he's trying to protect the players, and we get he's trying to protect the team. But what do you think is going through like his head, like especially after the results, goes to press conferences, get asked these questions? What do you think that conversation is like after that, and he goes back into the dressing room and talks to these players? Because they asked Scott McTominay a similar question, and fair enough, right? I think us as the fans, we give the players so much stick, and I actually wanted to like do an episode about this. Like, are we being too unjust with these players? Because at the end of the day, they are human, right? Scott McTominay answered a similar question. He came out and said, "Look, I know you guys, you just see what you see for 90 minutes, but you don't see what happens behind closed doors. You don't hear what happens in the dressing rooms. You don't see what happens in the pitch. You just get all these leaks and all these rumors about, there's unrest, there's the players are not fighting for the manager." And he was basically just conveying that message of we are behind the manager. We are fighting for the manager. When we lose games, we get hurt. We go back to the dressing rooms. We're not parting like we really feel the effects of it, and we try and work on all these things to become a better team as a unit. And then we go out there and we try and put our best out on the pitch, right? Now, I heard his answer. I agree with his answer. The problem is, it like words are words. You can say all of this, but you're not actioning it. So, like what you said about Scott McTominay and that first goal that got we considered against Bournemouth, he spits all that game, but then goes and does that in the game, right? How are we supposed to believe what you guys are saying in the press conferences? And that's why I was saying that at the end of this press conference, I'm like, it's all talk, right? They probably chose Scott McTominay because he's the best person to deflect and get around these questions and whatever. For all we know, they prepped all these guys, and Scott McTominay scored the highest points in these prep interviews, and they put him out there to say this nonsense. You get what I mean? I want to
Mm.
believe him, right? I understand. We've all been in situations like this. You have played football. I've played other competitive sports. We understand you go out there, you have a bad game or whatever, but we also know the difference of going out there and trying, and people can see that you're trying to make an effort versus you just going into a game and being very complacent about it. Yeah. So anyway, back to my original question. So after all of this, how do you feel the manager, after defending the players like this, what type of conversation is he having with these players, especially ahead of this game? Because we played okay against Chelsea, and like I said, Chelsea was that victory against Chelsea. It didn't move me. I was happy we got the 3 points, but at the end of the day, I'm like, it's Chelsea. Chelsea also haven't been playing very well. You said it. They're in the same boat as we are, if not even worse, because they're sitting below us in the Premier League. So that win against Chelsea wasn't really a result that you could look at and say, oh, look what we did here. You understand? That game, it literally could have been a 50-50 thing, right? We are not significantly better than Chelsea. That 2-1 victory doesn't tell us the true story of United's form and Chelsea as a whole, right? Going into teams like playing against Bournemouth, like you mentioned even before we played that game, they're a more organized team, right? So that result made more sense than the result against Chelsea. So Ten Hag is like, okay, cool. Like, do you think the manager sees it? Do you think like he also acknowledges and sees what we see? Like that Chelsea victory. Obviously, you'll go and say what he needs to say in the press conferences. Say, look what we did at Chelsea. Look what whatever. You have to take the wins where you can take the wins. But going into this match, right? What do you think that energy is like?
The funny thing is, I feel like because when I was watching that game, that Bournemouth game in the beginning, I thought that every single player on the pitch was playing football. Like everybody was on it. So I believe that so the gaffer, what he's doing is he has picked his squad, and he hopes, because he knows. I guess he sees them every day, so he
Yeah,
hopes that these guys are going to go and do the business. Now, the training session, I mean, whatever training, whatever they do, whether these players they comprehend it, or they absorb it and they get it, when it comes to the real day game, like when it comes to game day, for some reason it looks like all those things get out the way. And one thing I've noticed about the gaffer keeps on insisting that there's improvement, that we are playing better, and which
yeah,
is true. Like the possession is becoming more, and I know you don't like this stat about possession, but in terms of Manchester United, for some reason, when we have possession, that is the only time we are able to do something, when
yeah,
we have the ball.
yeah.
Yeah, when we don't, it becomes tricky for us. But
Mm,
the stats in that department have gone up. We are sort of finding some sort of chemistry. No, we're playing. We're. It's not very pretty, but it's decent, and it's way better than what we've had since coming.
yeah,
Now, one thing I've noticed with the manager is that he has just been pushing. It's almost like this saying of like, um, the definition of insanity.
yeah,
Doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over, hoping for a different result. And I feel like that's the same thing that's going on with Manchester United. He knows how to get his team where it needs to be, but he's not. I don't know if he's not willing to be flexible because of the circumstances. So
yeah,
he's just going to stick with what has been keeping him afloat,
yeah,
basically.
yeah,
Yeah. And then sort of push in on that and just try to emphasize on that. Honestly, the conversations that are being had with Eric Ten Hag, I think he's just um, insisting to the guys that, guys, we need to be more clinical, because if there's one thing that he's very visibly um, he gets annoyed is when we are not completing the final third. When we're in the final third,
yeah,
he like when we're playing football in the middle, coming from the back, doing all those things. It's nah. When
yeah,
we get to the final third, and then we don't put in those balls, and then every time they show the gaffer, I always see his face of like, the fuck,
yeah,
like, guys, like, what else do you want me to do?
yeah,
You know? And if I try to tweak this change, you guys will be lost again. Like, you guys don't
yeah,
comprehend, then it's another struggle. So I
mm,
need to keep on pushing you on the same thing,
yeah,
same strategies, whatever it is that they're trying to do. He's trying to push it until he gets it,
yeah,
until it almost becomes like second nature. Because there's this zonal and what is this? The styles of play. Pep Guardiola is not the one to give his players flexibility.
mm,
He trains them in a way like, okay, Bernardo Silva, you need to be always at the corner when Kevin De Bruyne has the ball.
yeah,
It's almost like everybody knows that they need to be here when they're here, and that's all they do. They will go and train those things until it becomes second nature, where to a point where these guys are giving passes without even looking.
yeah,
Now, Eric Ten Hag wants to give that freedom. He wants to sort of implement that, but our players, I don't know.
they're not
Honestly,
they're not
dog,
they're
the
not
conversation,
disciplined. They're not
they're not
disciplined.
disciplined.
They're not
Yeah,
consistent.
and he even yeah, he mentioned it in his press conference, like
Yeah,
the post match, and he's like, We need consistency.
Yeah.
The only way you can get out of this rut is the consistency. And I'm
Yep.
sorry, but these players are not good enough. They're
They're
not.
not.
I don't know. I don't know if he said they're not good enough to be consistent or they're not consistent to be whatever.
Yeah.
But he basically said that these guys, this
Mm.
whole lot, they're not
Yeah.
good enough.
Yeah.
They're not good enough.
They're not.
So he's trying. My gaffer is trying. It's
Yeah.
just not getting through. Now, I wanted to mention something because it slipped my mind. Rashford came on against
Bournemouth.
um, Bournemouth. Bro, you should have seen Rashi.
Mm.
You should have seen Rashford. Rashford was running like a lion was chasing him. Like in Old Trafford. Like it's like he also got juiced just before he was like he left.
Now,
Like they said, I go and run.
tell me something.
Niggas chasing every ball, running like the life, like like his life depends on it.
All right. All right. All
And then
right.
I asked
Whoa,
myself,
whoa. Just hold on. Just hold on. I'll let you
oh
continue
yeah,
just now. Yeah. So when they
yeah,
brought Rashford on, when we already three
yeah,
goals down.
yeah.
So what was all the running for? Did he think in 10 minutes we were gonna equalize? But anyway, continue.
That's that's my point. Like, and it pissed me off even more. And I don't even
Yeah.
no, I know why I didn't bring it up because I said I'm fed up with Rashford.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
just one of those things. But seeing him run, like put in that passion, run like he, bro, it was weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is bad. This is so bad.
Yeah.
Like he's choosing when he wants to turn up. He's
Yeah.
choosing when this, and I just thought that that was a bad, bad, bad omen. So, with that being said, D, I think we still need to go back to that situation of like, what we need an open heart surgeon. We still need to get rid of this fucking lot.
Yeah.
We need to we need to get rid of a lot of these players in this squad. Like
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
True.
The inconsistencies. That's why I was like I said that bold statement that time about Rashford when I said, bro, let's sell Rashford.
Yeah.
Let's get done with Rashford.
Yeah.
Unless you guys are willing to go through up and down kind of seasons with Rashford, giving you hit and miss. Like right, yes, scored 2 goals now, and how many games have we played?
Yeah.
Like I think even his worst tally in a United jersey is not as bad as this,
Yeah.
and he's coming off a banger of a season.
Yeah.
Come on, man. These kind of inconsistencies are not needed in a club that wants to win trophies, that are trying to challenge. Like we can't be having these issues
Yeah.
if we are trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
the big problem is how they drove Rashford's narrative. I think making him this big player at
Yes,
United has sort of given us this wrong impression of him because I think
yes.
Rashford's career would have soared if we treated him like Chicharito, you know? If he was that
Mm,
team player, not necessarily a starter, we just start him
mm.
otherwise, like it's a serious situation. But he should have just literally been that player that just comes on in the second half and just runs riot. You know, I believe if we treated him in that sense, we would be getting more consistency and we would be getting easily 10 goals minimum a season from Rashford. Because if I'm not
Bro.
mistaken, when you look back in his early days, especially like the first 3, 4 seasons when he was coming off the bench, in his first season he got 8 goals, and then the following season he got 13 and then 13 and then I can't remember what the number was afterwards, but you could definitely see he was having a good impact coming from off the bench, right? Coming into the game and doing what it needed to be done. And that's a lot of goals. That's a lot of goals versus when he's having a bad season and he can't even hit 10 goals. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So man, it's too late. The thing is that we can't turn back the hands of time. We can't relegate Rashford to the bench and say, look, you're going to be that player coming off the bench and doing what needs to be done. But at this point in time, I don't know how Ten Hag is going to fix this situation, because obviously we have Garnacho playing very well. We have Anthony, picking up very good form, and his game is excelling in a way that we just never thought could. You know, we have and Ahmed, who is back in training. We've got Facundo. You know what I mean? So even competing for that right position is going to become a problem for him. And he said he doesn't want to be playing up front. So yeah, that's the conundrum that we face right now with Rashford. And what's his name? Is it Steve Nico on ESPN? You're saying like you said a very good point. Not that I didn't think about it, but just to highlight it. Um, there's no way a player can get form back if he's on the bench. He has to play. He has to play, and
It's a
then
conundrum.
it's a conundrum. And then the other man, I forgot his name, the Mexican guy, but he basically said that it's very easy for a player to get comfortable on a bench if he's put there for a prolonged period of time, than for him to get back his confidence, and consistency if he's not being played. So now you're stuck with a huge situation here of leave Rashford on the bench. He gets too comfortable on the bench. He comes on, he doesn't really put his all because he just got to that point where he's comfortable just being on the bench and being given whatever time is going to be given. Or you just continuously play this inconsistent player who is completely lacking of form, and he's just wasting space for another player that can come in and do the job for us. You check. So I don't know how Ten Hag is gonna fix the situation or even get around it. But anyway, um, do you want to say something?
Can I add something onto that? I like how you just mentioned that, because it just gave me an idea, because I started thinking, if that's the case, like if we I think that should be sort of something that we look into as United when we're picking players. Like, we need to see somebody that has got character to stay, like how his mental state is. You know what I mean? How to
Yeah,
deal with these kind of situations where you're not getting the opportunity to play, but you are keeping yourself mentally ready for an opportunity or anything like that, just so that you can keep on playing. At
yeah,
United, I don't think we have that.
no,
Like those players that are benching. I mean, the youngsters, it's a different story. But
yes,
I think maybe in the senior players, those that are pros,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, like I don't know if we have any strong mentality players like
nah,
that at
nah,
United. That is a fucking problem,
it is.
you know.
Mikel
And
Rito was
I
our
think
last
United
player
needs to, yeah.
to
And I
have
think
that
United,
mentality. Yeah,
when we are recruiting players, we need to have players that are strong here
yeah,
for situations like this. Because I
yeah,
mean, at the end of the day, you can't pick 12 players, you can't pick 13 players.
yeah,
The best have to play. If
yep,
the best are not playing, then they pick the other guys. Hey, it is what it is,
yeah.
But United, how do you think we're going to line up, bro?
So yeah, predicted starting 11.
Mm,
Ten Hag, Ten Hag, Ten Hag. You know what? I think in my last prediction, I said Rashford would start against Bournemouth because it was
mm,
Bournemouth. I thought Ten Hag would see that as an opportunity to start him.
mm.
I was wrong about Bournemouth. I never said it was gonna be a walk in the park victory, but I just never thought that they would be that difficult of a team to
I
beat.
know,
You know what I mean?
I know.
So I thought if any game you want to start Rashford to sort of get back his form against teams like that, you know. So I was shocked that he didn't start against Bournemouth, but I also wasn't
Mm,
shocked. Going into this Bayern match, you know what? It's because of what Ten Hag said at the beginning of the season and the way he has been treating Ten Hag thus far. It's so hard to imagine that you're dropping 3 games in a row, you know? So I'm gonna go on the safe
mm.
side and I'm gonna start with Rashford, right? So I'm gonna start from top to bottom. So Rashford starts um
Wait,
ahead of Anthony. I think he still keeps you know what? This is difficult. Um who does he drop? How was Garnacho against Bournemouth? Who had a better game,
it was
Garnacho or
good.
Anthony?
You see, okay, so we have conflicting. Some people said Anthony had a good game against Bournemouth. For me, I don't. I disagree,
Yeah.
because, well, I mean, okay, no, 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 no. I lie. It was decent. It was good. There were
Okay.
things that he was supposed to do that he didn't do. That pissed me off, and I was just like, we're not going to get anywhere
Yeah.
with this United squad if our players are not brave, if our
Yeah.
players are not taking on players. There was a time when Anthony had an opportunity to just go.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like, take the ball, stop dilly dallying,
Yeah.
just bounce and do it there. This guy dribbles, waits for the guys to come back, and then it
Yeah.
didn't make sense. However, his ball retention was good. He
Okay.
wasn't losing the ball. He was tracking back. He was coming back to defend. He was doing everything.
Yeah.
But it was those moments where. So for me, here's my thing.
Okay.
The things that you are meant to do, when you
Yeah.
do them, I will not sing your praises.
Yeah.
You are meant to do them. That's the Roy Keane way. Roy Keane's
Yeah.
like, fuck, don't praise me. It's my job. It's
Yeah.
my job. I'm supposed to break him. I'm supposed to kick him. Or I'm supposed to do this. You're
Yeah.
supposed to do these certain things. It's when you now do extra where we are like, all right.
Yeah.
So, ah, Anthony, what he was meant to do, he didn't do it during that game.
Yeah.
And that's why I was not happy with him. Even though people were like, oh, actually, he won man of the match for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But that's because he never lost the ball. He was just holding on to it. He wasn't. He played it safe. Let me
Yeah.
say he played
Okay.
very safe. Yeah.
So on
So
if I, okay, I'll get back to the starting 11, but let me just mention this real quick. So on one football, right,
mm,
against Bournemouth, they rated
mm,
Fernandez to be the best player in that game, 7.8,
thank you.
and then
I agree.
followed by Amrabat 7.5, and then followed by Anthony 7.3, and then Garnacho 7.2. So
Mm,
those are the four players that had the best game against Bournemouth. Now I'm gonna go according to the stats because I haven't watched the full game. So I'm gonna say
mm,
Rashford will start ahead of Garnacho. Rasmus Holland will start as the striker. I don't think you'll start Martial again, only because of Rasmus' form in the Champions League. So yeah, I'll go Rashford, Rasmus, and Anthony just because they had slightly better stats. Midfield, Bruno number 10. I think he's still gonna continue being stubborn with McTominay, and he will start Amrabat ahead of Kobe Mainoo, even though Amrabat started against Bournemouth. Because I did mention that I think he's doing the Amrabat starts this game, Kobe the next game, Amrabat, Kobe. I think you'll go with Amrabat, and then the
mm.
back line. I see I seem I seem doing Delo, Maguire, Luke Shaw, Sergio Reguilon only because when Sergio Reguilon plays, he moves the ball fast. I think this United team play very slow football because football nowadays has become very fast, even in La Liga, right? These players move the ball around. And I think this is also why we struggle against a lot of teams because a lot of these teams have adapted to this new style of football, right? And that's why you find teams like Fulham going and winning 5-0, Bournemouth beating us 3-0, all of this. They go and beat these teams that still want to play this like slow build-up football. When they get the ball, they're on it. Everyone gets into the position. They know what they need to do. It's almost like, in rugby when they're charging down the line to score the try, how everyone just gets in formation and just running and looping the ball to the side. I feel it's almost like that in that modern game of football, where as soon as the opposition gets the ball or whatever team has it against us, they're just charging forward and they already know exactly what to do. Whereas we hit the ball a lot of the time side to side, back passes. I wouldn't be surprised if Manchester United have the highest what you call this ratio or rate of back passes in the league. Because the amount of back passes we make versus a lot of these opposition teams are ridiculous. And the amount of balls we lose, just kicking the ball forward aimlessly, again, it's I don't even want to speak about it. But yeah, so I think he's gonna go Luke Shaw at the back, with Harry Maguire. Sergio Reguilon just to keep up the pace with the ball, because when Reguilon plays, he doesn't hold the ball for too long. He's always moving it and he's always moving around. So especially when he drifts into the midfield, when he's playing alongside with Luke Shaw, because that formation changes as they're advancing. And Sergio Reguilon sort of like comes in. Luke Shaw sort of takes up his left, position, and then that whole line comes like this into defense. So yeah, I see Regulon, Luke Shaw, Maguire, Delo. Yeah, I don't know why he's dropping Bisaka. I honestly do not know why, but that's the way I see it. I'll be shocked if he's gonna go Kobe and Robert, but I also wouldn't be shocked, because I think in his head you would want to like create a very strong defense against Bayern and at least try and give us a chance. What I would be disappointed is if he starts Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire. I think I won't even have the stomach to watch the match. But anyway, that's my starting 11.
Say it again, like because you
Okay,
were
okay.
explaining, so
Onana,
just
okay,
run
okay.
through it.
All right. So Onana, Delo, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Sergio Reguilon, Amrabat, Scott McTominay, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Rasmus Højlund, and Anthony
So Rashford will be on the left.
on the left. Yeah,
Okay, interesting. For me,
what
I don't
else?
know. For me, there's a lot of because again, rotation is important.
Mm.
It'll be very tricky because Harry Maguire isn't benched. Like there are a couple of players in that starting 11 that need a rest,
But Harry
and they're
Maguire
gonna be
hasn't.
playing.
Harry Maguire didn't play for the whole of last season.
No, I get it, but here's the thing, D. Because the more you keep on playing players, right? People are not saying anything now. It's only when now shit hits the fan that they'll be like, "Nah, he's been playing these players for too long, abusing them. Nah, 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 nah. He should be rotating. He's got defenders. Nah, nah, nah." Now I know he's not gonna do it because
Yeah,
Harry Maguire is his guy right now.
yeah,
So I actually wanted to talk about Onana just a little bit because like I know we're supposed to get behind our players and stuff.
yeah.
Um, I don't know if you remember the conversation we had about Onana, where I
Okay.
talked about where I told you that, hey man, Onana, he in all his everywhere he has been, this kind of goal goals that he concedes is normal. He
Yeah,
concedes a lot of goals, and you just have to make sure that we are in tandem, like we're there.
yeah.
Bro, I honestly do not think it is ever going to change.
Mm.
Like I don't think like he's going to make super saves. He's going to do those things there and there. But then the amount of goals that we're going to keep on conceding, I don't see them stopping. I still see United conceding a lot of goals. And the funny thing is, the history of Onana shows that regardless of him being a very good goalkeeper, that guy just lets in goals.
Yeah,
It's always up to the team that he's in to outscore whoever it is that they are playing. That was sort of their mentality, if you think about how it went down. Now, right now we're not scoring goals, United. I think we're back to -3. We were on 0 in the Prem, and then Bournemouth just made it to -3, I think. And I just don't see any of that changing.
yeah,
And for some reason, in my heart, I feel like we need to sound the alarms and sound the bells. We need a new goalkeeper.
yeah.
I'm sorry to say this, but
Mm.
we need a new goalkeeper. I don't care
Mm.
that Onana is Eric Ten Hag's boy. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care Eric Ten Hag thinks that Onana is the number one. But what we are seeing and what we're Onana is not going to help us.
Mm-mm.
He's not going to help us because we don't have our Rashfords, our Hoylands, and all these other guys are not scoring.
Yep.
So Onana is really just going to be a liability.
Yeah.
Now, if we have somebody up front there who's going to be scoring goals, then I think maybe we can calm down because we will always count on him to outscore whoever is going, how many goals we're going to concede.
Yeah.
Anyway, I needed to say that because, man, I look at the mistakes he's making, bro, and I'm failing
I hear you.
to reconcile to say, but now you will get better. Oh, but nah,
Nah.
it's hard. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying. Please, I'm really trying. I'm really trying to find common ground with Onana, but I'm just like, nah, dude.
Yeah.
Nah. You can't be doing this.
Nah.
Nah.
Mm-mm.
You know? Anyway, so Onana is going to start. I think Wan Bissaka is playing in this game. Right back. Um Maguire is going to play. And so here's my weird thing. I have a feeling that Luke Shaw is going to retain his left, not left center back,
Mm.
but left full back,
Okay.
meaning Regulon Charles bench.
Okay.
And I think one of the defenders, be it Iceman, Evans, or Varane, will pair with Maguire. I'm not kidding. I don't think it's going to be Luke Shaw. Then,
You think
in the,
Varane starts?
man, I said one of them,
Okay.
Lindelof, Varane, or Evans.
Yeah.
but not Luke Shaw, because I mean we've been using Luke Shaw at that left-sided center
Yeah,
back, right?
yeah.
So yeah, I think he's going to remain at the left back, and because he will go there, then he has got no other choice than to use the other defenders that are there: Lindelof, Evans, or Varane. I don't know who he will pick,
I think it'll be
but
unfair to start Varane. But anyway, yeah, you can go
eh,
on.
yeah, either way. So
Mm,
it will be that back four, and then in the midfield, he started Amrabat
yeah,
against this
Bournemouth.
guy. I think he will start Kobe
Okay.
because I think he it's weird in the midfield. He doesn't have these reservations about who he puts in.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we be like, dude, why aren't you playing these two guys? Nah, he
Mm,
just puts whoever. So for him, it's almost like as long as he's got Bruno and Scott in that
yeah.
midfield, he's like, whoever else is there, it's their business.
Whoever fills up that third position is whoever.
Yeah,
Rock
yeah,
paper scissors for
So
that
he's like,
position.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, but I don't know. I think Kobe
Okay.
will start this game.
All right.
Kobe, Scott, obviously, and Bruno.
Yeah.
Up front, I still think Rashford Charles bench.
Okay.
I think Anthony takes his right position. Garnacho continues on the left, and then Rasmus Højlund takes number 9. That's my starting lineup. That's
Okay.
that's that's how I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless he tweaks, because I've seen Amad Diallo's back. I
Yeah.
saw Martinez,
Yeah. Back
Licha's
in
back.
training. Hmm.
Casemiro is back. They're
Yeah.
on the grass. They're
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
that
yeah,
that
yeah,
that's probably for the Liverpool game because
yeah, 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 yeah,
you know
yeah.
when
I
you
mean,
you know when you
ah,
mentioned Varane, and I'm like,
eh,
it's unfair to start Varane because you've been having beef with him. Number one, number two, I don't think it will be in the player's favor to start because
mm.
if you're saying Varane come and save us so we can qualify to Champions League and then we don't, the press are going to eat at Varane. They're going to
Eris.
be like,
Oh,
this guy is supposed to be your savior. He has won X amount of Champions League. He didn't qualify you guys. Maybe he couldn't be asked. He did it on purpose. They're going to slate him and the manager. So to be
yeah,
on the
but
safe side, we just don't
yeah,
start him. We don't need that type of press. If we lose, it's then they're gonna go in on Varane and say he's finished, he's washed up, he couldn't even protect United against Bayern, this so-called 3-time, 5-time winner of champ. You know how they are. So
yeah. No, I
for
feel
me,
you.
I
I
say
feel you.
forget about starting Varane. If you want to start him against Liverpool. If Martinez is back to fitness, reserve that comeback. You know what I mean? That suicide squad, that
Mm,
expendable team, reserve it for
mm,
Liverpool. You know what I mean?
mm,
Don't waste it on
mm,
this Bayern game because the chances and the odds of those players like doing something and like I said, it's us winning is dependent on Copenhagen or Galatasaray, either one of them. Sorry, it's dependent on them drawing. And both those teams want to qualify. Why would both the teams want to play for a draw? They are gonna go at it. That game is probably gonna be the most interesting game between us and Bayern and them. Their match is probably going to be the best one to watch because they are going to want to
mm,
qualify. Both of them are going to want to qualify. So for me,
mm,
it's a pointless exercise throwing the whole kitchen sink at this Bayern game where another factor still needs to decide our fate. So I say forget it. You know,
mm,
put whatever team you want to put out there. I don't care. But that Liverpool
mm,
game, because we're not going to have Bruno Fernandes, if you want to have an expendable team, that's the one you reserve it for. You know what I mean?
mm,
That's the one you reserve it
mm.
for. Side note, expendable force is gonna have 50 cents, so I'm really interested in watching the movie. But anyway, um I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but I
You mean
saw
Expendables
Fury.
4?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I saw
I've
Fury,
already seen it,
I'm
bruv.
like, dog. I'm like, I need to watch this movie. But anyway,
Oh, you haven't checked it out yet?
no, no, no. Is it out?
Yeah.
When did it drop?
I forgot, but it's out.
Yeah.
It's out.
I no, I'll go
Yeah.
check it out. I'll go check it out.
And
But
and and
yeah,
they've stretched it. The first, second was that
now fight, now fighting.
they're just yeah, yeah.
Some Fast and
But
the Furious stuff. But anyway,
mm,
score predictions.
Aish, he Can I tell you something, D?
Yeah.
Against Bayern, I never pictured a scoreline. I
Yeah.
just pictured we need to win. Can you
Yeah, no, I
believe
get
that?
you. I get you.
Like I can't sit here and say we're going to beat Bayern. Nah, I can't.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I can't even imagine
Yeah.
what the scoreline will be. Even
Yeah.
though the last game, I think the last game it was what 4-3 or 4-2,
Yeah.
4-3, 5-3.
If fam,
The first game was it 5-3,
dog, 5. Let me check real
5-4?
quick. Yeah. I think it was
Yeah,
I think it was 4-3, but 5.
4-3. Yeah,
If it was 5, no, Nana needs to bounce. Um, let me check.
must have been, yeah, must have been 4. Must have been 4-3 or
Let
4-2
me
or
let, let,
5.
let me check real quick. Um, 4-3.
I mean,
It was 4-3.
4-3, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They had a field day.
Like, and we watched that game, bruh. You kind of felt like United could have nicked something from that game.
Yeah.
Like Bayern, yes, they were. You know what was funny
Yeah.
when you think about how it was almost like Bayern had their super dancing shoes
Yeah.
or light shoes, whatever you want to call it, and we had these things that were just like it's like you're stamping on quicksand
Yeah.
almost. And we were struggle. And then when we finally like sort of get our leg out of like unstuck, we would
Yeah.
score a goal or whatever. So it was very tricky. It was almost like when you look at Bayern, you don't think they're that good when you're
Yeah.
watching the game. You see them beating us, yes, but then you're like, they're not that good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, yeah. So I
I
don't know.
get
I
you.
don't know. But it's gonna be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Kimmich, Goretzka, Musiala.
Mm-hmm.
Da, da, da.
Gnabry, Kane,
Gnabry
Sane.
is injured.
Oh, okay. That doesn't make
Yeah,
an
that
issue.
we have got an injury boost. He's injured. So, but still, they've got Zane this
We also
side.
have injuries. That's the thing. So
Yeah, but our injuries, like this season, like
yeah, yeah,
so what? Like
yeah,
Bayern, they are missing a player that actually adds value to their team. He scores, he provides assists. Some of our players that are injured and missing, it's like,
yeah.
you know what,
But
just stay
okay,
there.
but dude, I mean, we have Varane who is not starting. We have Martinez who is not starting. We have Casemiro
True.
who potentially is not starting. Those three players make a world of a difference in this team. Fuck, even Christian Eriksen. You know what I mean? We can
And
even
those same
include him in.
players played against Bayern.
Those same players played
Remember?
against Bayern, all except here was the lineup. It was Rasmus Højlund,
Uh,
Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, and Facundo Pelestri. Right.
uh,
Then in the holding, it was Ericsson, Casimiro, and then at the back it
uh,
was Regulon, Martinez, Lindelof. I think at that time Varane was injured, Dalot,
uh,
and then
uh,
Onana. So
uh.
you check what I'm saying. That team was much more formidable than this team that we're putting out there today, because this team at least went out there and challenged Bayern, 4-3. This team, you think this team is gonna go out there and put 4-3? Forget.
I think no, not four
Not
three, but it's
4-3,
going to
but do
play
you do
better
you think
football
then this
than the
no,
last game.
no chance,
Yes,
chance,
I'm
no
telling you.
way, no
I'm
way,
telling you.
no way,
The
Ben, no,
intensity is going. You will see.
no
I'm
way.
telling you.
I refuse.
Against this Bayern Munich,
I
it's going to be
refuse.
different.
I refuse that one. I refuse.
We will see.
I refuse.
We will
This
see.
this
I'm
team.
telling you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes,
I don't
D.
trust this
Look,
team.
look.
You went and
D.
they went
Listen.
and they went
D.
and lost 3-0 at home to Bournemouth. This same team you're trusting
What?
to go to.
Why are you underestimating Bournemouth? Bournemouth play good
Dude,
football. I
I
told you
get it.
this.
I get it. I
I
get it.
told you this.
I get it. But
They
you
play good
allowed
football.
Bournemouth to beat us at home. You know, Ben, if that was an away scoreline, né? If that was an away scoreline, I would be fine. I would be like, okay, cool, I hear you. If that scoreline was an away, but it was a home, Ben, home scoreline. I don't care, Ben. I don't care if they're playing well. You don't allow Bournemouth out of all teams to come and beat you 3-0 at home. 4 even. No, get out. Mm-mm. They scored 4 goals. They scored 4 goals, Ben. 4. Regardless of that one being an offside, they scored 4 goals at home. What? Mm-mm. I'm sorry, my guy. Mm-mm. This same
Okay.
team, they're going to
Uh,
invite another guest to their home, and dog. that first
You
team
will
that
see.
played Bayern, that one.
We
If
no.
we had that team, I would trust it to do something today.
If we had that team, yeah, that team we played Bayern,
Yes.
provided it is like now with the improvements that we have now, yes.
Okay.
But if we play the same Bayern, like the same way we played the last game,
Yeah,
it's gonna be a total, because there's a huge difference between that team that played against Bayern Munich then and this team that got smashed by Bournemouth
dog.
and beat Chelsea.
Look.
The improvement,
Yeah.
like the difference,
Okay.
fitness and everything is different,
No, you
and
know.
that is what I'm trying to
Okay.
mention.
Okay, Ben.
And because of that,
Yeah.
I believe it's going to affect this Bayern Munich game. We're going to have a different intensity compared to that one.
Okay.
You are saying that we're not.
We're not.
We'll-
Let me break it down player by player. Ne? Rasmus Højlund
uh,
was on better form in that first game than he is now. Right? His goal scoring has decreased. When we played against Bayern, his goal scoring was nah. Rashford, performance wise, has dipped hard from the beginning of the season. That Rashford at the beginning of the season that played Bayern was in better form than this one that's playing now. Rashford.
nah, Rashford has
You're
been
saying
poor for
Rashford's
me from
performance
the
is
beginning.
no, fam.
Deep. Have
It
I not
it
been complaining
Ben,
about Rashford since the beginning of the
it
game
has
of the
it
league?
has been poor from the beginning, but
Uh-uh.
no, I'm
For
agreeing
me,
with
I'm
you.
telling you,
No, I'm agreeing
I've
with
been
you.
complaining about Rashford from the beginning, and I
Yes,
even told you what is it that I'm not seeing that you guys are seeing.
yes. Now
So
I'm agreeing with
you
you.
can't
No,
convince me now and say
look.
that. Eh,
No, wait. I'm agreeing with you. His performance has been
eh.
bad the whole season. But what I'm saying is it has decreased. It has become worse since the beginning of the season.
No,
It
it
has
hasn't
become
changed.
worse.
No, it has
Ben.
been like this since the beginning, D. That's how I'm seeing it.
All right.
Come
Fair
on,
enough.
no,
Okay,
it,
fair enough. Fair
no,
enough.
no, no, no,
Fair
no, no.
enough. Fair enough.
I've been very consistent with this.
No, of course.
I've been
I'm not
very,
look,
very
I'm not
consistent
refusing.
with this.
I'm not refusing.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
yeah.
from my point of view, right? He didn't start the
Hey,
season off well. I'm agreeing with you. All I'm saying is that he's gone from worse, he's gone from bad to worse. That's what I'm saying.
thank you.
That's
But
what
he
I'm
didn't
saying.
start off the season well.
Yes, he didn't
That I
start.
would not
Yes, he didn't start.
accept.
Yes, he didn't start it well.
Yes,
Bad choice of
yes,
words. He didn't start it well.
yes,
But I'm saying
yes.
that I would rather that bad Rashford than this worse Rashford.
It's no difference for me because that bad Rashford then was not tracking back.
Okay.
He wasn't. He was still putting this lethargic kind of runs.
All
He,
right.
he couldn't give two shits.
Okay. Cool.
For
Cool.
me, Rashford has been consistent. Like, it's weird. It's so weird, and that is the thing that upsets me the most because I'm like Rashford. I just noticed that this guy this season is just not on it. He's
No,
just
he's
not
not.
on it.
He's not. He's not.
He's not been on it.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
it's a tricky one,
All
D.
right. All
You
right.
will see.
Okay. Now,
We
if
will have a better performance against Bayern.
okay, you know what, ne?
We might
We'll
lose.
reserve this.
If we lose, cool.
Yeah.
But the performance-wise is gonna be
Okay.
better than
All
that
right.
game.
We'll reserve this. We'll reserve this for after the match, right?
All right.
So that we can do a proper contrast. Because I
Yeah.
honestly believe that first team was a much
Mm.
better team than this
Now,
current team.
now
But
that
we'll
team
reserve
that
it.
we played
We'll
against
reserve
Bayern.
it.
Listen,
Yeah.
yeah, that team that we played against Bayern was those goals. First of all, we even talked about it. It was more of an individual thing. It had to come from a lot of those players. Casemiro digging deep, scoring the two goals. I
Yeah.
don't know who was the other one. I think
Hoyland.
Hoyland scoring. However, it wasn't a collective. It wasn't a collective. It was individuals,
But
and
that's been the theme the whole season.
that's why I'm saying now it is a bit different.
There's no
D, are you saying?
Ben, which game this
Wait,
season has been constructive?
no. I'm not saying. Listen,
Okay.
listen, 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 D.
All right.
That Bayern, the collect like the way we were so individual against Bayern then, and you compare with the way United is playing now. Are you trying to say it's the same?
It's
If
not
you
the
say
same.
that, cool.
It's not the
If you
same.
say that, cool.
It's not the same.
I will take that, and then I'll be like, all right. So, in that sense, that's why I'm saying, like, when we played Bayern in that beginning, there was just so much confusion, injuries, inconsistencies, players just, I don't know if there were players out of position, but it was just not making sense. And we understood it. And when we were watching that game, it looked like like if those individual players didn't dig deep, like if they didn't do whatever they did, we wouldn't have got the result. Now like I've been saying, even in this thing, I have been consistent with this.
All right.
The improvements in the game, in the team, are there.
Okay.
They are very, very small. You need to pay attention to see the changes. There are small changes, but they are there.
Okay.
They, if you sit here and say that the changes in United are not there, I, 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 I can't go back and forth with you because I see the changes.
Then
You understand?
I understand that, but
But
I'm not talking about the season as a whole in terms of how we have improved and all of that. I get that, right?
mm,
I'm just isolating this to that team that played Bayern versus this team now that's gonna play Bayern. That's what I'm breaking it down to. You know,
you're saying they're the same.
I'm not arguing about there hasn't been any change throughout the season and the team is playing more collectively and whatever. Sharp. That's a different conversation. I agree with you on that. But I'm just saying that I would rather go into this game with that Bruno Eriksson, Casemiro midfield, then go with the Bruno Amrabat, Scott McTominay midfield. That's what I'm
Okay, if
saying.
you say okay, D, if you say that now, this is what I'm saying. D, we don't have those players. We
Yes.
don't have Ericsson. We don't have Casemiro.
Yeah.
But I'm still telling you that I feel like we're gonna have a good, better game than that, even without those guys.
Okay. Okay.
And
Well,
I know it sounds weird. Hey, D, let's end this thing
let's
right
end
here
it. Let's
because
end it. Let's end it.
let's end
Yeah,
right
yeah,
here.
yeah.
We wait for the game.
Let's wait for
We
the
watch
game.
the
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
then
then we'll
yeah,
come
yeah, yeah.
back and then yeah, we'll review it properly. No, I 100%
Yes,
agree with you.
yes,
All right,
yes,
man. No,
yes.
salute. You can close us off, my guy.
Hey, so everybody, thank you for listening to us on the Glory Reds FC. You guys can check us. We are now throwing these videos left, right, and center in YouTube. Please subscribe, like. If you guys like what we do, please comment, engage with us, show us that we sort of mean something to you, I guess.
Yeah.
Or how does it work, T? How do we plead with our people to
Like
join us and
they must
check
get
us
it
on
get
more?
involved in the conversation. Like we want to hear what your guys' opinions are. Like, when you're
Yeah,
listening to us on the podcast, if you're watching us on YouTube, jump in the comment section, give us your 2 cents. We go back and forth. We always want to hear what you guys also feel about the situation that's happening at Manchester United. Whatever we say, our opinions is not the law. Like, it's not like what we say
true.
is not gold. Our opinions are just
Mm,
our opinions. We could be
yeah.
very wrong in terms of a lot of the stuff that we are saying. And we are not scared to be called out and say, hey, what you said at minute 26 was absolute nonsense. And then you come with your
Mm,
facts and be like, all right, now I hear it from your point of view. So what really I
mm,
love and appreciate you guys that are listening, jump into the comment section. Don't be shy. You know what I mean? We will reply to your comments. We will get engaged. After all, this is our football club and we love to talk about them, and you know what I mean? Just give them that
yes,
praise
sir.
and do what we need to do. So yeah, man.
All right. With that being said, we will catch you guys on the flip side.
Yeah, yeah. Peace.
Peace.